You know that feeling in the air that you just can't explain, but something tells you a major change is coming. That's exactly the atmosphere surrounding St. James Park right now. There's a quiet sense of anticipation building behind the scenes. No one is saying anything directly, no confirmations, no big statements, but the whispers are louder than ever. Suddenly, old rumors resurface, familiar names return to the radar, and behind closed doors meetings reignite critical discussions. There's a strong sense that Newcastle United is preparing a bold move, and the impact could be immediate and explosive. And if you're a true Newcastle fan who wants to follow every twist behind the scenes, every negotiation, and every strategic move by the club, then now is the perfect time to subscribe to this channel. By subscribing, you won't just be the first to know every update, we'll also be able to keep growing and bringing you exclusive analysis that goes far beyond the headlines. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive into this electric scenario together. And we're not talking about just any transfer here. Newcastle's board seems ready to act with surgical precision this summer. After a season full of ups and downs, injuries, and ambitious goals, the club knows it's time to make some critical decisions. One of the top priorities, strengthening the attack, because relying solely on Alexander Isak is simply too risky, especially with the physical demands of the Champions League. Newcastle need more depth, more firepower. That's why all eyes are now turning to big names. And we mean big in every sense of the word. Players with proven track records who know how to deliver, who arrive ready to take on a central role or, at the very least, create healthy competition and raise the squad's overall level. But up to this point, everything has been handled with complete secrecy. The first real information only began to leak from the international press, especially the Italian media, which appears to have picked up a strong signal coming from Turin. And it's here that the big revelation of this report lands. According to La Gazzetta dello Sport, Newcastle United are in the race to sign none other than Dusan Vlahovic. Yes, you heard that right. The 25-year-old Serbian striker, currently at Juventus, has a remarkable record of 108 goals in 277 matches across spells at Partizan Belgrade, Fiorentina and Juve. The Magpies' interest comes at a strategic moment, as Vlahovic is now entering the final year of his contract with the Italian giants and, according to the same source, he has no plans to renew. If you're enjoying this kind of content, carefully researched, clearly explained, then this is the moment to subscribe. That way, you won't miss a single update in this transfer saga that could reshape our attacking line, and you'll be helping us continue to deliver high-quality, in-depth Newcastle coverage made for real fans like you. But why Vlahovic and why now? The answer lies in Juventus' current plans. The touring club invested heavily in the striker back in 2022, paying around £70 million to Fiorentina, making it the second most expensive domestic transfer in Serie A history. Behind only Higuain's £76 million move in 2016. But with the contract winding down and the risk of losing him for free next summer, Juventus are ready to listen to offers. Damian Comolli, the club's new sporting director, is expected to lead negotiations on Vlahovic's future during this window. According to Gazzetta, the current expectation is that Vlahovic will reject any renewal proposals, as he is seeking a new challenge abroad. That's where Newcastle appear as one of the three leading options alongside Turkish giants, Fenerbahce and Galatasaray. But the key difference, the Magpies play in the Premier League, have a solid long-term project, are back in European competition, and offer a massive stage for any player aiming to make a global impact. Let's pause for a second and remember, this rumor, while credible, is still at an early stage. Even Gazzetta's article makes it clear that while the player wants to leave, nothing has been signed yet. Still, it's worth noting, Vlahovic's name is seriously on Newcastle's radar, and that's no small thing, especially considering that Tata Juve also reinforced the connection between the Serbian striker and the English club. They even mentioned the possibility of involving players like Douglas Luiz and Sandro Tonali in a potential swap deal. However, let's be very clear, Newcastle have shown no interest in including Tonali in any trade talks. The Italian midfielder remains a key part of the club's long-term plans, and is not expected to be sold even in exchange for two high-profile players. So while this speculation from Tata Juve makes for a dramatic headline, Newcastle's board currently sees it as unlikely. But let's think for a moment. Even without Tonali in the mix, the potential arrival of Vlahovic could completely change Newcastle's attacking outlook. Callum Wilson's contract is set to expire soon, and attempts to sign Ipswich Town's Liam Delap haven't progressed. That signals the club is active, looking for players with immediate impact, but also aware of how tricky the market can be. And there's more. Names like Dominic Calvert-Lewin from Everton are still being monitored, especially if he becomes available as a free agent. The reality is, whoever comes in must understand one thing clearly: Alexander Isak is the starter. Any new striker will have to compete, or wait for their opportunity as a high-level option off the bench. But that doesn't seem to scare Vla. On the contrary, it might be exactly what he's looking for: a competitive, high-pressure, elite football environment. And there's a major factor. Newcastle are back in the Champions League. For any player seeking international exposure, that matters. Last season, The club paid the price for having a thin squad, injuries, fatigue, and even Isaac suffered with a recurring groin issue. Still, despite those challenges, Newcastle had their most successful season in the modern era. They won the Carabao Cup and secured Champions League football. That alone shows how far the project has come. And reinforcing the squad, especially the attack, is now an absolute priority for Eddie Howe and his team. If you want to keep following this story and understand how Newcastle are building a stronger, deeper squad, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. With your support, we'll keep bringing you all the latest, whether it's updates on Vlahovic, other transfer targets, or behind-the-scenes developments. And just before we wrap up, a quick reminder, all of this information was originally published by the Italian outlets, La Gazzetta dello Sport and Toto Juvi. These are highly credible sources when it comes to Serie A transfer news. That adds real weight to everything we've reported. Even if the deal is still early in the works, the fact that Vlahovic is seriously considering Newcastle already elevates the club's status on the European stage. Now, over to you. Would you like to see Dusan Vlahovic in a Newcastle United shirt next season? Do you think he fits our style of play? Or would you prefer the club to focus on other attacking options? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time. Because over the next few weeks, anything could happen. Vlahovic new signings, shock exits. And here, you'll hear about it all before anyone else. So get ready, because the transfer window has only just begun. And Newcastle are already right in the middle of one of the biggest stories in the European market.